guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all having a good day so far. So I've had quite a lot of requests for some information about how to eat out when you go to a restaurant on Slimming World. So I do have some hints and tips to share with you. So if you'd like to find out more, then please stay tuned. So eating out in restaurants and of course socialising with friends and families, going to events is such an important part of life, and it very much is part of life. So why should we cut it out? How do we manage it better? And I suppose, is it possible to do it and lose weight? Now, I am here to reassure you that it definitely is possible to do all of those things, and you can still remain on plan on Slimming World, but still have a fantastic evening out with your friends or your families. And obviously, work events as well can be quite challenging to sort of navigate. So yeah, we'll head into a little bit more detail about that. But if I can just take this opportunity to ask, if you're not already a subscriber, if you would mind considering subscribing to the channel. It really does help the channel grow, and it helps me create more and more videos for people like you sitting at home right now. So thank you so much if you are already a subscriber. Regardless if you are or you aren't, if you're viewing this video right now, then you mean a very lot to me, and I'm really, really grateful for your support and your time, of course, because we are all very aware of how much time we need to do our normal things on a day-to-day basis. So I get it. But I also have a members section as well. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank my members for continuing to be members. And for anyone who would like to find out more about that, there is more of that information on one of my most recent community posts as well. Or feel free to drop me a a comment in the box below, and I will go over everything with you as well. So of course, eating out is something that I used to do a lot of. So myself, my husband, we used to go out for dinner probably once a week, or we would get takeaway, or we would go out for breakfast or for lunch. And of course, a lot of those things were completely not sin free, and they were completely not food optimizing friendly, some world friendly. They were not friendly on the bank balance, and they were not friendly on my waistline. And that is pretty much it. But we enjoyed it at the time. I think one of the most important things to remember is that you can make small changes just as we would on our day to day when we make breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks on Summer World. We have learned and we have become more confident with making small swaps in our day to day that can mean a huge difference to our weight losses and how we feel overall. So, of course, one of the most important things that I do, and I would encourage all of you at home to do, you may do this already, is if you know where you're going, try to get a feel for the menu. So, um, take a look at the menu, have a little bit of an idea about what you'd like. If you can make a decision in advance, then fantastic. But of course, if you're anything like me, you might need to have a couple of options as a backup plan in case you change your mind closer to the time. Or, of course, when the lady or the gentleman comes over to take your order and you change your mind last minute. So, yeah, I'm quite bad for that. But what I will say is that you can make simple swaps with things like, if it comes with chips or fries, ask for it to come with boiled potatoes if possible, or don't have the fries or the chips and have more vegetables. So I think the most important thing is to try to not be worried or scared about asking for things to be made slightly differently. So, just as if you have a food intolerance or a food allergy, which is incredibly serious if it's dealt with wrongly, just as much so, you can still ask for things to be changed. So, if you wanted to have, say, like a chicken burger and it was a real chicken breast on it, it wasn't deep fried, it wasn't in breadcrumbs, then you could ask for that to come as a bit of a naked burger, or so you could ask for it without the bun. You could ask for a large side salad with it, and of course, asking for it to come with any sauces on the side. So if you did want to have a little bit of mayonnaise or a little bit of, say, like sriracha or whatever it is, you can just dip a little bit into your sauce pots. And so that means that you're in much greater control of how many calories and, of course, sins that you are consuming on a night out. Having things like a lot of menus now do actually provide leaner options. So, my advice would be to have a wee look at that first. If you are going to somewhere like an Italian, then you'd be wanting to try to have sort of more tomatoey perhaps spicy pastas rather than the creamy version. Now, that's not to say you can't have a little bit of what you want. You have a sin value allowance there for the week for that type of reason. And if you had a planned day out or a planned lunch or dinner, and you knew that that was coming up, then maybe it could be a good opportunity for you to be a little bit more mindful of that on the run up to that event as well. So maybe for a couple of days beforehand, just being a little bit more mindful of the sins that you are having on a day to day, or make a plan to not have any sins for a few days beforehand. So filling yourself up on lots of free foods and lots of speed foods, and of course, lots of protein foods that will keep us fuller for longer is a really good plan for moving forward towards your event. It does take the pressure off. It means that you have more sins to sort of play with, if you like. If you did want to have something a little bit more luxurious, or if you wanted to have some wine or some alcoholic drinks with your meal, it does give you that flexibility and option to be able to do that without worrying that you're going to tip over your sin allowance for the day. Now, of course, things can come up on impulse, and we can have impromptu dinners or impromptu nights out where we just end up staying out. Say for example, we've been out shopping for the day and we think, oh, don't really want to go home and cook dinner. Well, we'll just grab something while we're here. So, of course, it's looking at what's around you, what's available to you, and what fits within your dietary requirements and your likes and dislikes, and of course, your budget. Because eating healthier can cost a little bit more money. And I'm not saying that that is not the case, it definitely is true. But it's about the value of what you are giving your body from spending that little bit extra money. So, going to places that offer healthier options generally will cost you a couple of extra pounds, but in my opinion, in my experience, the food has tasted much fresher. I have felt more fulfilled after having a certain type of food compared to maybe more of a fast food option. And of course, fast food options um, basically don't give you very much for your sin value. So going to McDonald's, for example, you can get the chicken salad with the balsamic glaze, and I think the balsamic glaze on its own is, I think, one sin. Um, and I can't remember the sin value for the salad, but I think it really is only just the sin value that you need to count for the balsamic glaze, which is very, very low. I think it's like one and a half sins, as I said. So that's an option, but it's not that filling because you don't get that much chicken in it, because of course it's McDonald's and they want to give you a chicken burger instead. So yeah, and things like chicken nuggets you may think are lower sin because they're quite small, but I can assure you that you get very, very little for your sin value by having like one chicken nugget. I think each chicken nugget from McDonald's is about two or two and a half sins each, which is quite a lot when you think about it if you're having a few. Always try to plan your drinks as well. So if you are planning to have alcohol, I'm not an alcohol drinker. I generally have like one or two when it comes down to like birthdays or Christmas or something like that. I'm not actively a drinker. But if you are planning to drink alcohol when you go out, or if you're going for like an afternoon tea type thing, then it may be worth that you try to plan for how much alcohol you're wanting to drink. So it may be that you think, I'll just have the one, or no, I'm going to have two, and then that's me done. It may be that you want to have more than that. And of course, as I said earlier, planning is your best friend. What I have done before as well is if I am wanting to do something like an afternoon tea, then I don't want to basically deprive myself the whole week of my sins. So, as I said, you can maybe plan a few days in advance, but for something like an afternoon tea, it often comes on rye bread, it often comes on white bread, it often comes with cakes, of course, as well, and lots of little pots of sweet things that are delicious, but of course are not sin free and they're not Slimming World friendly. However, what you have to make a decision about, and this is your decision to make, is that do you just go out and have that fantastic meal and that fantastic time with your friend, or if it's a family member, your spouse, your husband, wife, your son or your daughter, whoever it is, do you just go out and enjoy it and then just draw a line under it and start afresh the next day? One of the most key, I would say, sort of sayings, if you like, from some world is that you're only ever one snack or one meal away from being on plan again. And I think that's a really, really important part of the food optimizing plan, is to remember that we can eat a huge variety of food We have so much nutrition within that food that we are allowed to eat on Slimming World that it shouldn't really feel like you're being restricted. But life is life and life is important. Of course, that is why we're all here and we need to make the most of it. So if it is that you don't want to deprive yourself, you want to enjoy your day out, then by all means, I would say go for it and do it. But always be mindful of in the back of your head to make healthier options if and when you feel you can. If you want to, of course, as well, it's your choice. But at the same time, know that as of tomorrow, that's me. I'm back on it as usual again. And I think that's something that you have to give yourself a little bit of trust with. So for the first time that I went out for dinner after I joined Slimming World, I was a bit worried about it. I was a bit worried that sort of like one taste of something that wasn't Summer World friendly was going to just throw me back off again because it has happened in the past. And I'm sure that many of you at home will agree as well. But the most important thing is that I was able to test myself to know that I can do it and it is just food. So it's food, any food is food, but it's the way that we think about food that is very, very different when you are following a Summer World plan. And of course, the positive mindset that we all adopt and we're all encouraged to adopt through image therapy and support from our consultant, using our food diaries, using the SAS log, using the for and against, sort of criteria or information why we're doing something and why we're not, and what the outcome could be if we don't. And of course, our motivational sort of um, conversations that we have within group, but I suppose as well the support from your consultant if you are struggling or worrying about an event that's coming up. But all I can say is that I have had several events come up whilst I've been on Slimming World plan so far, and one of which was going on holiday in the July. I only joined Slimming World in the May, and we were away camping for a week. And I decided not to eat bread because that was a choice of mine because I find it's very easy to eat quite a lot of bread when you are camping. Sandwiches, etc., are just so convenient and unfortunately for me, it's something that I do overeat. So that's a trigger for me that I was able to know about in advance. I also made sure that I tried to have as much free food whilst we were camping as possible and lower calorie options as well, such as fruits and some snack bars that I could use as my healthy extra if I wanted to do that. And of course, we were camping, so we were outside and we were able to do lots of body magic, lots of exercising, and so it wasn't an issue. The next event after that was my husband's birthday. So we did have a few days of sort of nicer food, some things, snacks as well, but it didn't have an impact upon my weight loss. It then came down to my birthday, which was last September, and well, I had asked my husband not to get me a birthday cake because I didn't want one, but I did request the birthday cake ice cream balls from M&S. So you may have seen this video in the past, so if you have, thank you so much for watching it. But basically, you can still buy them in M&S at the moment, and I think they're about £5 or £6 a box. But I was able to enjoy an ice cream ball with cookie dough wrapped around the outside of it with sprinkles on top several days in a row rather than having slabs of cake. And genuinely, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, it meant so much more to me to enjoy that and not have cake. And I managed to stay on plan beautifully, which was fantastic. We also went out for steak. So we went to our favourite restaurant in Edinburgh called Chop House, which is on Market Street. If you haven't been and you are local or you're planning to come to Edinburgh, I would highly, highly recommend going to Chop House. They do have several restaurants throughout the city, but the Market Street one is our favourite and it is fantastic. So we went there, we had steak, we had dauphinoise potatoes, we had triple cooked chips, we had lobster. I mean, genuinely, it was I think it genuinely was one of the best meals I have ever eaten in my life. But I still didn't gain weight after that because I drew a line under it and I got right back on it. As with Christmas, if you've seen the videos, you'll have known I had about 5 days off at Christmas. But after that, I was back on it again and I lost 1.5 pounds after that. And after New Year, we had had some Chinese takeaway for our sort of traditional Hogmanay or New Year sort of dinner. And we'd also had some sweet treats and things as well, some alcohol, of course, at the bells or when it hits midnight if you're not from Scotland. And I still managed to lose 1.5 pounds as well. So these are things that I've done that I haven't struggled with, and I honestly haven't missed out on going out for meals because you can also make slimmer world friendly, food optimizing takeaways, which if you don't know much about and you're new to this channel and you're new to Slimming World, or perhaps you've stumbled across this video by accident or by chance, then please do look at the Slimming World website. There is so much on there on the way of making your favourite foods a little bit more healthier and a little bit more waistline friendly and pocket friendly as well if you're trying to save some cash. So I hope this has been helpful. If there is anything more specific you would like me to cover on this topic, then please leave questions in the box below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support, and thank you so much to everyone who asked for this video to be made. So please do take care, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.